Muhammad says he did not see himself as
someone that can talk cannot recite.
No, but I've mentioned to you this before. Qari doesn't mean what recite means in English.
I said recite. I said choose one.
Yes. But if I say recite poetry, when they say recite Fatiha, for example, do you understand? Do you understand that point? For example, my Quran teacher sits there and says, "Iqra al-Fatiha." I don't have it written. And let's say I've never.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it means what I have in my heart.
But you don't have.
Do you understand?
But you don't have Fatiha in your heart.
Yes, but he did not know. This is what he's saying because he thereafter done it. Allah knew, and this is what Surah Alaq is talking about. Who taught man by pen.
This conversation a bit more. You know when Zachariah is in the temple, and when Daniel was encountering those angels, were there prophets before that, or is that the moment they become prophets?
Sorry,
when Daniel meets the angel, the encountering to the angel, were there prophets from that point or from before?
Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah, before.
You see, now this is a very, very crucial detail, because if this is not the first time that Daniel realizes that he's a prophet, and if we're comparing that to the first time that the prophet is receiving prophethood, then it's a false comparison.
No, see, the thing is that you're not getting it. I'm not. Whatever that happens to Muhammad, it's not my problem. No. I'm not saying Muhammad was. I'm not saying that because he was scared, he did anything wrong. I'm not saying because he couldn't recite, he did anything wrong. I'm saying an angel from God appears to someone and say recite. We both know what recite is, and we both know what reading is. So if we choose recite is easy. Reading is difficult. So if we have to say recite, it's fine. But in order for you to recite something, it's either I say recite this thing, you recite it, or it's either I'm just testing you. You don't know what you recite.
Yeah.
But you know what it is? The problem is this, we're reducing, and we're not taking the context into it. The reason why I'm saying this to you is this. When Jesus comes to the Israelites, what do the Israelites say to Jesus? They refer to what? They refer back to Moses. To what? To check the validity of him being the Messiah. Right? Now, I'm saying to you, it's a very nuanced point I'm making. We don't have the encounterances of these people in the Bible the first time revelation comes to them. So we do not know how they behaved the first time. In fact, what we have is their encounterance with angels well into the prophethood. Because when the prophet encounters Jibril, right after these three encounterances, his confidence with Jibril changes. And he becomes more accustomed to how to deal with him after he has the conversation with Waqir bin Nafi.
But it's not, see, okay, you know what, we're going to move on from this thing, because what I'm trying to say is this.
Go to something that's like pertinent.
What I'm trying to say is this, the angel that appeared to Muhammad, he couldn't make him do what he says. That's what I'm saying, on that day.
On that day.
Even though he commanded Muhammad, I commanded you in the name of the Lord. He couldn't make him do it. So, as a Christian, if an angel appeared to someone and he couldn't do it, we will not believe that angel is from God. I'm just saying as a Christian.
But where you get the criteria from?
From Bible. Because all the past experience in the Bible, if an angel appears to someone, they get scared and all those things. But even after they get scared, the angel will strengthen them. And they will do what they couldn't do before. Some of them, they will be shaken. The angel will make them calm down, things like that. Do you get it? That's what I'm saying.
But how is a prophet that already knows God and is a prophet shaken?
It's not him. I'm talking about the angel. That's what I'm saying. It's not Muhammad. I'm talking about the angel.
I'm saying of the past events in the Bible. These people were prophets already. And then angels come to them, they're scared. Why would they be scared?
Because angels are different from human beings. It doesn't matter who you are.
According to your criteria, if they know God and if they know, why would they still be scared?
Because angels carry the presence that is different.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
And I'm not saying that. Why is Muhammad scared? I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying to you, you know when you compare something, this is a problem. Wallahi,
Christians, I'll give you an example now.
Christian or Muslims really need to understand this when we do these comparisons. The comparisons have to be good comparisons.
Let me give you a good one.
No, but one second, before you leave that point, there's nothing in this hadith, and I'm double checking the hadith that said that on the third time he could not. In the previous two times it says it held him for ghattani. Look, it says here, and it squeezed him. But third time it doesn't say that.
So what did it say?
It stops, the hadith stops. It says that the angel Jibril Jibril told him what to recite, and it stops there. It didn't say that he could not recite it.
Yeah,
but what we have is that this comes in the Hadith and the Quran, which is revealed by the Prophet Muhammad. Do you get it? Listen, so there's no one. That's what I'm saying. That third time, there's nothing to say he didn't. That's what your argument is based on.
No, but what did he recite?
It doesn't. Well, we assume he recited what he look.
What did he say to Khadija? What did he say to Khadija? He said he told me to do it 3 times. Then what happened?
No, but he explains. Look, no. In the hadith of Khadija, where he says, tells her that the angel came to him, it doesn't mention the detail. It doesn't mention in that hadith, as far as I remember. It doesn't mention the detail.
Okay, let's move forward. You guys are talking like you're in the days of Muhammad, but we are not in the days of Muhammad. You have access to Bible. You have access to Quran now. So if you're going to see things, you have to see it in the way of not in the olden days that they didn't have access to Bible. Because the people that Muhammad was preaching to, they didn't really have access to Bible like the way we do now. You understand? You have both knowledge now. Before, they only have the knowledge that Muhammad was giving to them. But you have the two now. You understand? So if you're saying, because I forgot, you mentioned something, that's why. Anyway, let me continue. Now, because I asked you, why do you believe? I said that's a first encounter. That encounter, we find it dodgy somehow as a Christian. But it's fine. We move forward. We move past that.
No, but this is your Christian lens.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Christian, I have to look at it.
But you wasn't a Christian before.
Yeah, I'm saying.
So how did you examine by that standard before you was a Christian?
Okay, listen. What I'm saying is, as a Christian.
No, but 1 second. You said you left Islam and became Christian.
Yes.
But your standard you're using to judge that one event already seems like it's a Christian standard.
Yeah, because I'm a Christian.
So you was a Christian before?
No, I was born a Muslim. I'm saying
that's what I'm saying.
But they never practice Islam.
Exactly. I'm saying.
Oh, you didn't.
I did, but I wouldn't say I'm like a hardcore. I did practice it. There's no way.
But go back to the first point. The first point was that God spoke to you. Yeah. Like I said, that guy there claims he's Mahdi. God spoke to him. You're worried about this incident, but you haven't determined how. Just the same line. 1 second.
If I'm able to prove whatever, it doesn't mean people are going to be following me.
No. You're right. You're right. Because if you use that argument here, then why can it not be used against you?
Because I'm not a prophet.
No, but it's still, you switch your religion from Christianity to,
sorry. Want to be a Christian
because you say God spoke to you. So how do you know that it's God speaking to you? That's what I'm asking.
How do I know?
Yeah.
They're looking for something.
Like I said.
Like what I said, Sadiq al-Amin, Alamat al-Nubuwa, and all of these things.
These people, they want their nationality for your nationality. That's why they become.
I believe that Islam is the religion that's supposed to everybody's supposed to follow. As a Muslim, that's what I believe. And when I start finding that some things are not adding up, like I told you,
ask him to recite.
But this is what I'm saying. Do it. Just I want to double check. Yeah. No. Wait, what's that? Because I'm. Recite Fatiha.
Sorry.
You see, they are lying.
Astaghfirullah. No. I gave you the benefit of the doubt. Okay, it could be gone. Okay.
Let me say another one now.
No, this is all on these YouTube. Okay, Alif Lam Mim.
Hold on, let me do
Alif Lam Mim.
No Muslims, they just know to recite.
I don't doubt you.
Okay, go on.
I don't doubt you.
For a second, I doubt you.
Anyway, what I'm trying to say is this. So I started thinking, exactly that's what I'm saying. You can't test that one.
No, he's saying you should know.
No, he's saying even Christians knows it in Nigeria. That's what he's saying.
Oh, that's true. Even Christians,
Christians knows it. So you can't really judge people like that. But when I was a Muslim, I believed that Islam is the right religion.
But then you saw, for example, this incident with Jibril was enough for you to.
No, that's not the one making me. I told you. I'm just saying now that I have the knowledge. Do you understand? And I believe that you two have the knowledge.
Okay, now you have the knowledge.
So
okay,
I'm
go
saying, all those things that you know, what makes you with the sources, hadith, Quran, the story of Muhammad, what makes you believe? Because I've seen a lot of things that should make you think that, oh, what Christians are saying are true. forget about my experience. I'm saying with the knowledge that you have, this is what me I'm saying. Because if you go by Bible, go by Quran, then you can see that, oh, I can see what Christians are saying.
Yeah.
Do you get it? So that's why I'm saying that, okay, for what Christians are saying is, the reason why we don't believe Muhammad is talking about the same God is because what Muhammad is saying about this God is something that we don't know. This God that Muhammad is talking about approves certain things.
But you're not going to the important thing like monotheism, for example. Like God is one. Like the God of Trinitarians is not the God of Moses or Abraham. See, this should worry you, Larry. You're going on to the Jibril, and did he say on that day?
Who said that should worry me? Muhammad.
No, the first commandment. Hear ye, O Israel, your Lord, the God is one. But that's what I'm saying. This is the first. There's a reason, Larry, why this is the first commandment, because it's so important. But you're going to this hadith to say, you know, the Trinity you worship, Larry, is not the God that Jesus worshipped.
HAMZA, you know why you cannot go back there? Do you know why you cannot go back to what you said?
Yeah.
When we started this conversation, I said me and you, we both agreed to a certain extent. We agreed the God that appeared to Moses, Abraham, the one that God spoke about, is the real true God.
We don't say appeared, but
yeah?
we don't say appeared, like spoke to.
Spoke to, right? Yeah. That's what we believe as the true God. So we agree to that extent. We cannot go back now and say we don't agree anymore.
No, this is fine.
What we just said is maybe the way that we worship is different.
No, but I disagreed. Maybe he agreed.
So what do you agree?
The Trinity, like the components, the three components, the Son, the Spirit, and the Father. These two extra components, the Son and the Spirit, is not recognized in part of our monotheism. Nor the monotheism of Jesus or the monotheism before. This is what I initially said, Larry.
Right.
So
okay, listen,
I established this point.
Right? You know, Trinitarian. What will you say? Will you say Trinitarian more, or what will you say Christianity? Huh?
Do you mean Trinitarian? What do you mean Trinitarian more?
You know, some people they believe. Some people they say they are Christian, but they don't believe Jesus Christ is God.
Oh, okay, Unitarians, as in, yeah?
Will you say they are more than Trinitarians?
But more than, what do you mean, more what?
Like
more
the
Christian?
Yeah, the population.
Oh, no, no. So it depends. In the early years, first century, now it's probably more Trinitarian.
Who will you say is more?
In Arabia? I don't know. So look, I'll show you what it says. If you read, I think Eusebius, yeah, he's in his book called Against Praxis, he mentions the laity make up the majority of the population, and the majority of them are monarchies or something. And this is the belief that God the Father is the only God. Do you see it? So they are also Unitarians.
Church fathers don't believe it.
No, they didn't believe it because they're the ones that invented the Trinity.
Exactly. So
but he's saying the majority of the people
but
he's saying that the majority. You question the majority of the people. Majority of the people in the first century were Unitarians, like the 120 in Acts, the disciples of Jesus. You had the Ebionites, the Jessenites.
They don't believe Jesus was God.
So you have an instance when Jesus says to them in 2 times in the Bible, "Who do you say I am?" Do you remember this thing? Who do you say the Son of Man is? And they say, some say you are Elijah, some say you are Jeremiah, some say you are the other prophets, but none of them ever said you are God. Exactly. Now this is a perfect place here. If I asked you who am I, you wouldn't say some say you're John, some say you're Barnabas. You would say no, you're HAMZA.
Okay, let me
so if God came down to earth, for example, Larry, and someone asked God, "Are you God?" or he would say, "Yes, I am God."
It depends on your.
If this is the one mission, Larry, you've come down to do, you think that, like, as in you do this one mission, right? Like you get it right.
No, it depends on your definition. The reason why you came, it didn't come for that. It didn't come to tell them God. You know that wasn't the reason why he came. He came to take away the sin.
Okay, how does he take away the sin?
No, we're not going there. I'm just saying that that's the reason why.
Yeah.
That's not the reason. This is not for me to say, I am God. No.
No, but how do you make him? Look, if I say about another man, I would be like that, he is man, and then you try to justify, I say, Larry, yeah, but he doesn't say he's God.
No, hold on.
That's not his purpose, but I believe he's God.
He said it, but he didn't just say, I am God. The way I said it now, God. He didn't just say that, but he said he's God.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Larry, these are the important things in our discussion. These are the important things, yeah? To worship the one true God. Jesus in, for example, John 3:17, he said, "For It's eternal life that you should know the one true God. Yeah.
HAMZA. Okay.
But, and you know what the church fathers done? You know what the church father?
We agreed on one thing. HAMZA.
Do you know what the church father done? They changed that verse.
HAMZA, yeah. If you said they change it, if they change, the only thing they can do is they still know God, but they're doing it wrongly. You know, there's different from you knowing something and worshiping that thing wrongly.
Yeah. So
it's like the Meccans.
There's some.
The Meccans.
That time,
they knew Allah, but they were doing it in the wrong way.
Yeah, that's the way. Do you get it? So it's different from you knowing God. You know there's God, but you're doing it wrong.
But that's what I'm saying. We feel you know your God and you're doing it wrong.
So that if you say we're doing it wrong, that doesn't mean we don't know God. We know God.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. Who is God then?
Now hold on. What I'm saying is this: the God that Muhammad is talking about is different from this God that we know.
That's what I said in the beginning.
Okay, so now how?
Because this is Trinity.
Now, how do we know that what Muhammad is saying? Because what Muhammad is doing and what he said is God allows us to do. Our God already told us this is sin. You're going to die. You're going to burn in hellfire if you do things like this. What Muhammad is telling us, we can do those things.
Okay, like what?
Exactly.
Not in Christianity, in Judaism. Do you understand? But you said because Jesus was not a Christian, Larry. Jesus, one second. Let me explain it. Let me explain. No, 1 second. No, but I need to just for everyone. Yeah. Jesus, according to the Bible, was a Jew. He ate kosher, he kept the Sabbath, he done the circumcision, he kept all of the laws. So by every metric you can imagine, Jesus of the Bible is a Jew. So now if you're going to say Muhammad is a false prophet, then it has to be in accordance to all of the laws that revealed. Not Christianity, which is a man-made religion that came afterwards. Christianity forsook it's a Hellenization. They forsook the laws. The Sabbath now you say is on Sunday. They don't do circumcision. They don't eat kosher, etc. And that's because of Paul. That wasn't Jesus. Jesus said, "I've not come to abolish the law, rather I've come to fulfill it." He says, "And you will not see the heaven until your deeds exceed the deeds of the Pharisees and Sadducees." So there's much what Jesus says. He said, "You have read it, or you have read it said, but I say unto you, the person who fornicates." He said, "I say the eye that looks another woman is a fornicator." So this is how he fulfills. This is how Jesus is fulfilling the law. He says, "I've not come to abolish it, I've come to fulfill it." The example he gives, previously to be a fornicator, you had to sleep with a woman, etc. He says, no, the eye that looks at the woman in such a way is a fornicator. So what he does is not abolish the law, tighten the law. So going back to your original one, I don't believe in the Bible. We're silent on the Bible.
I get it.
No, we're silent on it.
But do you believe that he said it? Because what
No, I'm silent on it. I'm silent on it. I don't know.
Okay.
This is the tafsir, yeah? When we come to Israeliyat, yeah, which is a story. If it confirms what the Quran says, okay. If it denies what the Quran says, you say no. If there's nothing wrong with it, then we're silent on it. This is the methodology in tafsir.
He said Jesus was Jew.
Yeah.
Like Jesus, Christianity means followers of Christ.
Okay.
He cannot follow himself.
Exactly.
So Jesus cannot follow himself, so he cannot be a Christian.
Yeah, so it's not Christian great.
So that's why he cannot be a Christian, because he cannot follow himself.
Yeah.
So
but he was, according to you, a Jew.
But we follow his teachings, his ways.
Okay, so let's look at his teachings.
Hold on. So that's why we're Christians, right? So now, his teachings and his ways.
Did he keep the circumcision? Did Jesus keep the circumcision?
Did he keep it?
Did Jesus keep the circumcision?
Now we should continue doing it.
No, was he circumcised?
Yeah, I believe, yeah.
Okay, did he eat only kosher? Did he eat pig? Or did he cast the pigs away and only eat kosher? As a Jew, normal Jew. He wouldn't eat kosher. As a Jew in the first century Palestine, he would have got kicked out of Jerusalem.
As a Jew, you wouldn't work on Sabbath day. He did work on Sabbath day.
But that was to prove a point.
That was to prove a point.
Not just to prove a point, to make us know that.
But one, he's a prophet. One, he's a prophet. One, he's a prophet.
As a prophet, you wouldn't disobey.
No, but this is what I'm saying. No, this is it. No, he came to abrogate and to change. Yes, and this is the example I gave you. Now, when I said, well, what do we mean by change? When he said about the fornicating person, he said, no, I say the one who looks is fornicating. He didn't get rid of the laws, he tightened the laws. So when Jesus ate kosher, when he followed the laws, No, huh? Who did?
That's why Jesus gave all the
Okay, okay. What?
said-
Paul, it's not Jesus. Go on.
Okay, so are you saying Paul is not a disciple of Jesus?
Of course not. I'll give you examples, Larry.
If
So
you have problems with Gabriel, I have problems with
So Paul, let's just go to Paul quickly. 1/3, for those who don't know, the Bible is made of 27 books, the New Testament. 1/3, or almost, sorry, about 13 books are written by this man, Paul.
Yeah.
There's 27 books, 13, that's half of the books of the New Testament written by Paul. Now, did Paul meet Jesus in flesh? The answer is no.
No.
Did he argue with the disciples who did meet Jesus?
At the Council of Jerusalem.
Yes, he argued
Yes.
with Barnabas, he argued with
James.
James, he argued with Peter, Cephas, and his teachings are completely different. Whereas the disciples followed the law, they kept the kosher. They even said they say you apostatize and call the people towards away from the laws of
Peter
Moses.
got up because he
So
didn't want
it
to
shows
speak with
here
the-
that the disciples followed the law. Now Paul comes along years after the so-called death of Jesus, and he starts preaching at Jesus, which he says no.
What do you mean years after?
Because he wasn't at the time of Jesus. This is in the times of the disciples. Hence he says, he was on the road. Once he was on the road to Damascus,
yeah.
and he was killing people of the way. The way means the Christians or the Jews that believed in Jesus. Early Christians were not Christians. They were Jews that accepted Jesus. So this word Christian, we have to be very careful. It's anachronism. So Paul didn't meet Jesus. He argued with the disciples. Disciples held him up on it. He went to initially proselytize to the Jews. The Jews rejected him. He moved from the Jews to the Gentiles. The Gentiles, if you read the books like Corinthians, are moving away from because he gave birth to certain churches, in the East. One second. And if you read his letters, he says, why are you going to another gospel? He said, men from James are coming.
Yeah.
Why are you going to their gospel?
Yeah, you can
Which
see a
shows
conflict
that
there.
there's a conflict between a type of Christianity and his type of Christianity.
absolutely.
Read the Gospels. He's saying,
absolutely.
I may not be a prophet unto you, unto them, but I am a prophet unto you.
you.
For him to say that, it means there's an accusation being launched. People are saying you're not a prophet, but he's saying 22 times he calls himself apostle. One second, loud.
You know what he was
I'm
doing
answering.
before that
Well, I'm answering your question. Listen, it's really good. 22 times he calls himself an apostle. No one else does. When the Judas betrays Jesus, so Jesus had how many disciples? He had 12 disciples. One of them is said to have betrayed him, gave him a kiss, sold him out, and caused a crucifixion. When that Judas died, well, you know what the 11 remaining 11 disciples done? They gathered. They said, let us choose one amongst us who has been there from the beginning and the ministry of Jesus. They gave a criteria. And they chose that 12th disciple. Did they choose Paul? Even Paul, though Paul was alive. Did the disciples believe Paul was a disciple or
He was not part
apostle?
of the story.
No, they chose Matthias. Read the Bible.
HAMZA, you said I
Did
should
you
read
get? Do you
Bible.
get it?
I get what you're saying, but you said I should read the Bible.
So
You've
even
read
the
Bible.
disciples don't believe
You've
he's.
read Bible.
Well, just
And you know
just
that-
show me
you know
what.
that-
Show me you
know that
understood what I
Paul
said.
And Ananias, you know they met. Is it Ananias?
Yeah, but that's Ananias is not the disciples. It's not.
Hold on. You know that you met.
Yes.
So what you saying? Are you saying that Ananias conspired? What you're saying?
No, did you not hear? Larry, you heard what I said.
Okay, so Ananias,
Jesus came.
When Paul, when he encountered Jesus on the road to Damascus, he said he went to, what's it called? I've forgotten everything, but he lost his eyesight. And Jesus sent Ananias to him, right? He didn't know Ananias. It was Jesus that sent Ananias to him. Okay. Ananias was scared of him because he knows who Paul is, right?
Who's telling the story?
In the Bible.
Who's telling the story? Paul is telling the story that
okay, the story.
Jesus sent Ananias to him, and we should believe.
So
Do you see the problem?
No, I didn't see the
But
problem.
but you see the problem.
Because Ananias was alive when he was saying it.
Yeah, but who's telling the story that
Paul.
Ananias is getting sent?
But was he lying on Ananias? Ananias couldn't say
He
anything.
could, of course, he could lie. He said, "If by my lie the truth is abounded."
Hold on.
The understanding that Paul does not lie needs to come out.
Hold on.
Paul says in his own words, "If by my lie the truth is abounded, why do you judge me as a sinner?"
Listen, okay.
Do you understand that point?
As a Muslim, if he said he's lying, it's fine. Hold on.
Yeah. No, as a Christian, he said he's lying.
Peter met Paul.
Yes, and Paul stood up to Peter in his face because of his hypocrisy.
Hold on. I said, did they meet?
Yes.
So do you think Peter is a true disciple of God or Jesus Christ?
Yeah, why not?
You believe it or not?
I could believe it's not. It's
Well,
not
I
part
need
of
to know
my
what you
belief.
believe.
But it's not part of my aqidah. You get? I don't need to believe that.
Now, if you're
you get it?
No, I'm not saying.
According to the Bible,
yes.
Yes, I believe that
good,
Peter met Cephas. Yes, yeah.
So if he meets Peter, Peter has the Spirit of God. He has, so he will know if this person is true man of God or not.
No. Who said?
Who says what?
Who says that he must know that this man is a person of God?
If you're preaching against Jesus Christ, you will know. Peter will know
and they will come to me on that day and say, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? Did we not do good works? What does Jesus say? Get away with me. Muslims don't call him Lord. Jews don't. No, one second. Muslims don't call Jesus Lord, do we? Jews don't call Jesus Lord. The only ones he's telling to get away from him are Christians. So it's like Jesus is saying this in the Bible. He said they will come to me. He's talking about Christians.
There's a lot of fake people today.
Fake what? Fake Christians who are using prophecies and signs to deceive even the Finish the sentence. To deceive even the. What did Jesus say? They will do miracles that are able to deceive the very elect. So, do you know what I'm saying? There are the false messiahs and false Christ can deceive even the highest.
I get it, but the thing is, in order for you to have a fake thing, there's going to be a original. Right?
Okay, yes, good.
Exactly.
Good point, yeah.
So, if Jesus Christ is saying there's going to be fake prophet,
he's a real prophet. Yeah.
Exactly. So, he's not saying that.
We're talking about Paul. Larry, Paul did not meet Jesus.
Okay, Paul
he said he had a dream, a vision on the way to Damascus while killing Christians.
So you said
the Jews, the Christians at the time, they weren't Christians in the sense we know Christians. They were Jews who believed in Jesus. They kept the laws, they kept the Sabbath, they kept the kosher, they kept this everything. The first disciples of Jesus, they did not accept Paul as an apostle or a disciple.
Initially.
No, not initially. Because in the Council of Jerusalem in the year 50 AD, do you recall? James, who was a pillar of the church, the three pillars of the church, was James. Who else are the other two? Peter and John. No problem. James. These are the pillars of the church. And Paul doesn't like them. He calls them fake apostles, or sarcastically he says super apostles. You read the language, you see, he's getting very frustrated.
Do you know about this conflict?
Do you know? So you know about it. So he was summoned by James, who is the head of the church. James, who's supposed to be the brother of Jesus. James, who took over the church. He says to Paul, we hear that you are calling people away from the laws of Moses. And the word in Greek is apostatizing. You were apostatizing from the religion Jesus was on.
And you know why he was doing that?
Sorry, I've spoken so much.
You know, he was going to the Gentiles.
Let me explain something to you.
But why was he doing it?
Let me explain something to you. There's something that is very important in the Bible. When Jesus Christ was living, he said, I've got so many things to say to you, but you cannot bear it now. But he will send Holy Spirit, which he will reveal. The things I've already told you guys, but you don't know it. It's very, very important. And this is the thing about even disciples. You know, you mentioned something before. Jesus Christ said, who do people say I am? Some say you're this, some say you're that. He now asks the disciple, who do you yourself, that you're following, who do you say I am? Why did he ask that question? Because he knows that people, okay, let's forget about what people are saying. But you that you're following me, that you see everything, what do you even think I am? They don't know who he is themselves.
Well, they
know he's not good. That's the point.
No, HAMZA.
They know, no, Larry. We've shown you.
As Jesus. Do you understand?
As Jesus, a prophet,
and they think,
a man of God. They followed him.
Things like that. But they don't have the revelation. He knows that
Jesus is revelation. He's a prophet.
He knows that they don't have the revelation. But when Peter said what he said, flesh and blood did not reveal that to you, but my heavenly Father. That's what he said to Peter. When Peter said, you're Christ, the Son of God, or of the living God, he knows that you're saying this thing, but it's not because you know who I am. It's because it was revealed to you. Revelation
but
is
it still doesn't show that he's God. It just argues on our side.
I'm trying to explain something to you. That even though the people that are with him, they didn't understand it. Like you were with the understanding now.
This is
and the reason why they didn't understand it.
So why did Jesus choose these people?
He said it himself.
1 second.
I just said to you, he said it. I've got so many things to say to you.
1 second. This is a motive.
You cannot bear it now.
This is a motive.
I'm sending the Spirit, Holy Spirit to you, which will bring you to remembrance.
Okay, I'll sorry to you. scholars point out motifs, reoccurring themes in the Bible. Yeah. Now, if you look at biblical scholarship, one of the things that you continuously see is that the disciples just don't understand. One second. Now, Jesus handpicked these guys. Yeah. Jesus is supposed to be all-knowing according to you and this and that. Now, the people he chose don't know nothing. And you have it that they're made to look dumb. The reason they're made to look dumb is because Jesus has in these scriptures that he says, I'm going to die. Or he says, go ye not. I'll give you a perfect example. He says to them, stay in Jerusalem. Stay in Jerusalem. But then at the end it says that go preach into all of the nations. Who's he saying this to? The disciples. But the disciples, after the death of Jesus, stay in Jerusalem. And if you read the church fathers, they mention that, in Acts it mentions a great calamity fell upon Jerusalem and everyone scattered except for the